My name is Kathleen Dwyer. Upon doing some family research, I discovered that I had great-great-grandparents, Thomas and Bridget Shaw Canton, on the 1860 census, and I suspected that they were Famine Irish. And I can't remember the name of the ship, but I believe I found Bridget on a famine ship. And Thomas was a saddler, S-A-D-D-L-E-R, and Bridget was a laundress. And there was another part of the family, that was my Irish grandmother's family, but the Dwyer family, they immigrated about 1877. And one of the things I discovered about the famine, about the gene mutation, because we've had, I know that in the late 1800s, there's a lot of mental illness among the Irish. And I didn't realize that when I began to do some reading. In our family, there was schizophrenia. And then when I tried to find Bridget Shaw Canton again, and I think I found her in a mental hospital on Ward's Island. So it goes way back. That's a mutation that continues all the way. I discovered Mary O'Brien Dwyer. I finally found where she came from. That's my Malachi Dwyer's, my great-grandfather's wife. Came from Dungarvan, Waterford, Ireland. Now another part of the family, the Cantons, we discovered they were the Irish, one of them, I think, the Maguires, were Sarah Jane Maguire Canton, the great-great-grandmother. Her family, I think, was from Northern Ireland, but they were the Protestants. So I have a marriage record where they were married by a minister. But it was a big secret. We didn't know who was, because the rest of the family were Catholics. So we suspected that, well, maybe during the famine they might have converted to be fed. So I'm still researching, and we'll see what I get. But I found that very curious about the gene mutation. And also there was also alcoholism. Because alcoholism was both gene and environmental. They also think that because sometimes people lived in these rural areas, they intermarried third, fourth, fifth cousins, and they kept marrying each other because they didn't have time to spread out. So I found that kind of fascinating. And one of my friends, and I can't remember, said there was a particular area in Ireland where schizophrenia was present from one generation to the other. Or maybe it might be bipolar, who knows. So I'm still doing research. I haven't found my great-grandfather. He's only on the 1900 census because a lot of the men sometimes died young. The 1880 census was destroyed. And I'm sure he must have had siblings. So I'm about to start doing that again. But it's quite a journey when you read when you look at the census records, the families all lived together. They never spoke about loss of infants. When I went to get the interment records of my great-grandfather in Old Calvary Cemetery, Malachi, there were 4 infants buried with him. 2 would have been my great-uncles, and 2 would have been my uncles. But no one ever spoke about it, just like she was speaking about, no one spoke about the famine. It was never passed down or ever talked about it. I don't remember my father talking about it. Except when I was first in Ireland in 1969, I bought a book, I think it was called The Great Famine at Trinity. And that's where I really first read about it. But after that, no one in the family talks about that. So now they're bringing that to life. So that's all I have to say. I could talk the ears off a brass monkey, but that's beside the point. Thank you.